Good morning, everyone. Fatty from Pack-a-Punch Traders here. Just going to make a quick video going over the month and the week, pretty much, now that it's over. So we'll just dive into it here. Pretty good month. Made a little more than last month. Percentage-wise, a little bit, win rate a little lower this month for this week here. Really gave up a little bit, but overall, staying pretty consistent. Taking quick snipes a couple times this month here. Over trading a bit, but that didn't seem to affect me this past week here. 62% rate, and it was more than these weeks, and even more than this week here. I was really just sized down, didn't really have a day like last week where we had a little over 1100 here. But really just keeping it consistent, keeping my risk tight. I really like this stat here. My average red day is $96. My average green day is $473. That's what you want to see. Percentage wise, I do like money wise, it's looking good. Percentage wise, I need to work on it a little bit. Average gain, we'll round up and call it 10, and we'll round up and call it 5 here. So 2-1, not great. I would like it to be a little better, but it really helps that I start in with a starter and I have small size, so this percentage loss is on smaller size, but still I would like to see a bigger spread between these. Only 2 losing days, 2 red days, majority of the month winning. That was nice to see. Biggest loss $160, biggest gain $710. So not these crazy big numbers to each side, but I like how spread apart they are from each other. And overall, this month, really some mistakes. It was just impatience, which is what I really worked on this past week. This past week, my impatience, we'll get into it, I think it's the best it's ever been. And it literally feels like just mentally, I've leveled up in regards to reading the chart and being more patient. And we'll get into that. Great lesson on that is CYN and a couple multi-day bounces. But, just working on my size as well. I feel like even though, yes, I am consistent taking these small snipes, I am consistent and pretty confident in my plays. I could be adding a little bit more to my size, just getting comfortable scaling up a little bit. I know these market conditions probably aren't ideal for sizing big, but I'm not trying to size in big. I just need to go in a little bigger. I'm trading pretty small size, but it's really cool to see what is possible with small size. The biggest trade I had on the month, I think, was like $6,000. Let me look through here. Yeah, all around the 2-3,000 range. A couple starters that you're seeing in the 1,600, like 1,000, 2,000. But yeah, really just where is it? Right here, 6,000. That was the biggest trade, the amount I put into a trade this month. Besides that, you can see these numbers are not that big, and I'm still able to let the singles add up and come away with a solid gain on the month for not working like a labor job and working that hard, air quotes. Because this does take definitely a mental strain. It is much easier, but it does take some effort and shit, so we'll call it work. I am in trades for pretty quick time, so just seeing how much I'm making for how much I'm really trading when I'm in a play. As you can see here, it not often gets above an hour. Typically within 30 to 45 minutes, even less than that. A few times here, under 10, under 20. So I would say executing pretty well. You know, percentage gains here, they did come down a bit from last month. Last month, I believe I was at 11. So throughout the month, a little antsy, not as patient. But this past week, we'll dive into it actually. CYN was the gift that kept on giving this week. And that was just a fantastic play. Where are we at here? Been mapping it out all week since Monday. talking about it on Twitter. The trend is beautiful. It just keeps heading higher, making new highs. Not really worrying too much about this past resistance, just making it support and grinding higher. Just swing shorts getting destroyed every single day pretty much. And this move to the 5-6 area where I was talking about early in the week, we're now finally getting to it. But this really is just, I'm trading it multiple times. As long as the trend is there and it's offering momentum and my patterns are setting up, I will take it. The pattern here yesterday, multi-day breakout. And this was probably a red to green move. That's what it was, or previous high day break rather. Had to break over 3. And again here with this one, I called this one, but I didn't trade it. I remember taking a look at that. But overall, good month. Just sticking to what I know. Once again, very similar to last month. Just numbers-wise, a little different. If we look at my patterns here, I'm not really getting out of my comfort zone, really. Just patterns I've tracked. I know how they move. Multi-day bounce, just a fantastic play. And, talking about a multi-day bounce, I'll get back to CYN right now. But NUTX yesterday, what a fantastic call right out of the watch list. Made a whole video lesson on it. And just being patient, understanding that the day before, yes, I took a loss on it, but it's not over. It does look like it's bottoming out. And when we got the momentum shift here, I was all over it. Didn't have the size that I wanted, but what I really wanted to go over was my patience. Usually this would be something I would be exhausted, and once we get this crack here, I'm getting out. But really, this week, I did a lot better sticking to the trend and reading the volume. These volume dips here, just the volume isn't really there, but it's still holding up. All these dips are on significant volume, and that really kept me patient throughout the week. There was one trade I made 20-some%. 1 second, I want to go over that one. CYN. Oh, okay, on Monday. Sorry, 26 in the morning. No, it wasn't this one. Never mind. Maybe it was a different trade on CYN. Sorry, getting a little all over the place here. But really, I made a video lesson on it. The key is just sticking to the volume, reading the price action and volume. How is it dipping compared to what volume is coming in? Usually you want to see, for a meaningful move, you want to see a lot of volume behind it, and you also want to see the volume and the price bars kind of match up. It would be really weird to have a lot of volume coming in and it isn't even moving. So usually I would look at that as some manipulation of some sort, but just trying to read the chart, stay patient, let the trend tell me what to do, let that guide me. Other plays we've had RDBX. This is one that I underestimated, but we've talked about before. Breakouts over red candles, not really my favorite, but if the volume is there, I usually like. I made a whole video lesson on this. I'm gonna find it on YouTube actually. Where are we at? Second. Oh my god, this is frozen. Whatever. But if you go back to our YouTube, I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago. The thumbnail, it says beware, and I go over being cautious about multi-day breaks or just breakouts over red candles, especially if they have high volume. This one didn't have high volume compared to the volume it was doing, but I do mention, give it some time. Let the shorts get trapped. Let it suck in the shorts. Let it rotate the float. Let it get the volume that it needs. It might not be a play early on because it really just needs to set up and develop. If you see here, we got a nice pullback where you think it's over. Shorts are definitely in this, but what happens is it comes back and there's enough volume and buying to really prop it up. And here you get a higher low, holding VWAP, holding right around the breakout level, in the high fours. So really, the entry would be in this consolidation area, as it's making higher lows before you get the nice rip to the mid fives. But I will say, for the float, as small as it is, this isn't the price action we like. When it's this low of a float, it should really be one-sided. You should have a lot cleaner moves, kind of like the way it did in the morning. You had these quicker, clean moves, but then late day, it was really just a grind. It would chop back and forth. Each time it would run up, you get a nasty pullback. Of course, you got to read the volume and whatnot. But really, this price action reminds me of something that's 30 plus million float that's not doing spectacular volume. So yeah, that was a little frustrating seeing that, but it just is something I stay away from. Sometimes they work out, but in this case it was choppy. I wouldn't have liked it as much as CYN, which had this cleaner move here. But still overall low volume. You got a 25 million float, only 33 million shares traded. It is not the highest volume bar that it's had in the past few days, as it's been grinding higher. So it's just this gradual uptrend. The volume is not spectacular, and I do think that's why at moments we get these nasty pullbacks where it has a hard time really squeezing one-sided. It took a few days for it to really develop. But yeah, so a little bit longer of a video lesson. Just want to go over a couple plays from the week, and also like to see how I'm sticking to a few plays here throughout the month, whatever's hot, and really trading the momentum. And I got breakouts, multi-day bounce, late day plays, so I'm trading these plays multiple times. You don't need to just be in and out one time and it's over and done with, unless the play is dead, of course. But it's nice to see that for a choppy month we had some momentum. I would say I think I performed very well for a choppy market, and really the key is just downsizing a bit. I know I'm trying to size up a little, but that is after a few months of getting some confidence. But the past month or two, it's been a little choppy, and really what's helped out was the small size, because I wasn't that confident in the moment, and taking the quick snipes, not buying high and selling higher. That really doesn't seem to be working that much, because these plays aren't absolutely taking off. It really is buying into the dips. In this case, yes, you got these breakouts that are working out, but buying it when it pulls back, when it's holding trend, when it's a little bit off the highs, creating a range, buying it near the support level, rather than going for the high break every time, even though that is something I look for. But just trying to adapt to the times, because the couple losses that I've had 10 losses this month, but some of those, besides maybe a few that the pattern didn't really work out, it was buying at the wrong time. Trading like I was trading a year and a half ago. This is a different market. You have to adapt. It really is selling into rips at key levels, and if it does hold up, like something like CYN, get back in. There's another opportunity if it does hold up. But really just don't be greedy. Take your quick gains, move on. That's really been the key to a consistent, profitable month during a choppy market. And also sticking to my plays and adapting a little bit. I'm recognizing here and there that the breakout play is getting stuffed, and if I'm recognizing it is having some momentum and volume as it's on a fade. Let me give it an example. Actually, CYN kind of was one, because on this day here, one second, I know there's a good example out there that is better than this one. NKTX, for example. This is actually a pretty good example. This is something You could have seen it as a multi-day bounce, kind of how I was. But at the same time, it's failing to break down, something that I'd be really excited for the breakout. I was getting in a little bit earlier and seeing if the momentum was and trend were still holding, and I wanted to see a test of the multi-day breakout level, not necessarily buying in around the 19 area. I wanted to sell into the 19 area, and that's one way I adapted this week, just recognizing some of the failures to keep going higher. And yeah, that's all you could really do. Take your quick gains, adapt, don't be greedy. We'll just leave it there. Hope everyone had a great week and month. If not, hope you learned something at least. And we're going to attack next week, new month, strong with some new lessons. And yeah, hope this was useful. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. Check us out on Twitter at Pack-a-Punch Traders. We got a lot of material on there, usually just the daily watch list. I put that out there and update it and alerts throughout the day. Some killer calls this week, especially yesterday. Many calls from the watch list were actually working out nicely. But yeah, we'll just leave it there. And if you want any low-cost live streams, check us out on tradecaster.com. Besides that, hope everyone has a great weekend.